Alright, y'all. I am back outside for another episode of Barefoot Biatch with Doritos. I'm getting ready to eat some chicken soup because I'm not even gonna lie. Doritos is the last thing I need to be eating, but I'm eating the old style chicken Campbell's new noodle soup. It's in the room in there. Chase just ate some ravioli. I took like one of them, maybe two. I'm gonna pay for that later. My diet has literally consisted of ice and milk. I'm withering away to a slow death. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and shove these Doritos in my face and let them stay down as long as they'll stay down. They're gonna come back up in about an hour or so. But I know a lot of you have had questions about my pregnancy life. I have 3 of my own children. My son is 27. My daughter is 22. It sounds horrible, but I had to think about it. I just don't keep up with that kind of stuff. I'm getting ready to send her a box. She is in Las Vegas at college. My son came back from the military. He had a top security clearance job. And lied to me. And apparently washed out twice from testing for his language translation job, which he wanted Russian. They gave him Spanish. He had Spanish for like 3 years in high school. WTF, bro. Anyway, he came back and I had to argue, literally, anything with my mother is an argument to try to make her understand, like, why you should help your grandson get a car. Why you should let him come back to the house. He basically lied. Sorry, a neighbor has a dog out that I've never seen before. He basically lied and said he was going to come back and go to the Navy from the Air Force. Yeah, no. Bro never did. The only reason he ended up in the Air Force to begin with is because Mom drove him to every recruiter meeting, as well as MEPS, which is the testing center. Yeah, Dad didn't do it. I did it. He just screwed around. 3 months before high school ended, like graduation, said, yeah, I'm going to go live with Dad. No, bro, you're going to finish high school. So Mom is the one that's always had the foot up his ass. Everybody else has coddled him and tried to be sweet to him and nice to him. And, oh, we're going to pay for this. Mom, this is the second car that Mom has helped him get. I told him when he came back here, he needed to pay at least $200 a month rent. She went behind my back and said, don't worry about it. You ain't got to pay nothing, baby. Then she bought him another car. Not this one. And it was, I want to say, like $3,000. He was working at a pizza shop, and she went behind my back, and I was like, yeah, she just gave you the money for that car, so you need to pay her at least $150 a month. Don't worry about it, baby. You ain't got to do nothing. I don't know what's going on with this car. I'm pretty sure since it's been sitting here for 18 months, Mom has probably paid for that one as well. Which is very interesting because I'm an only child. And my mother never paid for shit for me. Anyway. There's a truck going by. Sorry. So, my son who is now 27, has never paid for rent anywhere. Got to stay free with his dad because they let him sleep on the couch for a year until dad's new wife complained and was like, yeah, you need to come get him. That's how he ended up in the military, because mom came and got him. His dad is in the military, funny enough, and didn't feel the need to, like, scoop him up and make him, like, beam in. Nothing. Mom has given him 2 cars. Ain't never bought her only child a car. So, that is my son's story. My oldest son. My youngest son is 8. He's in the house right now. And his daddy is a just straight up asshole. I ain't even gonna lie. He uses him as a pawn to do anything and everything he can possibly do to get back at me for divorcing his abusive ass. So, that's the story with him. Little boy Blue is still a little too young to understand. Sorry. Eating Doritos, y'all. But he will every now and then make a comment and say, how come daddy doesn't let me spend as much time with you as I spend with him? How come I can't spend the night over here? Kids aren't stupid. He knows. And before I had little boy Blue, in 2009, I was a surrogate. I was a surrogate for a couple for almost 2 years at first. It just didn't work. She already had a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old, and her husband is a very well-renowned horse veterinarian in Ocala, Florida, which, if y'all know about that, is where all the racehorses are. Yeah, so she had ovarian cancer, had her uterus taken out, still had her ovaries, so for almost 2 years we went through 4 or 5 cycles, and there were many times. I mean, the doctor kept telling her, you need an egg donor, and she was obsessed with, I'm going to use my own eggs. So, white woman, she put in, let me see, I want to say, we did at least 2 to 5 embryos every time we transferred. It just never worked. The very last cycle, she did use an egg donor, but the embryologist, because they let me look at I'm seeing these kids at like 5 days gestation, like the eggs have been fertilized for 5 days. He told me that he did not feel like the egg donor took the shot that she's supposed to take the day before they do the transfer, which basically botched up the transfer. Every time I worked with this woman, and mind you, we did like 4 or 5 cycles, I can't remember now, but she was just, and I went through an agency, I did everything, we had legal paperwork drawn up by lawyers. She was just so bitter, so nasty, so like, I'm not talking to you, like it was my fault. I didn't do anything. I'm just a carrier. I'm a gestational surrogate. Not the one that donates the eggs. I'm just the carrier. That's it. So, fast forward to 2000, that was 2006 to 2008. Fast forward to 2009, and I had a lovely couple that was planning ahead. They already knew for 14 years that they were going to have to use a surrogate, because the wife, even though she intended to use her eggs, she had a heart problem, and it gave her a lot of heart arrhythmia. So she ended up having to use a donor. So we had 1 cycle, and then that got scratched because of her heart arrhythmia. And then the second cycle, they had an egg donor because they already knew in advance that she has really bad scoliosis. Like, her spine is very curved. She's a twin. She has a twin brother. But she knew in advance that if we ever want to have kids, we're going to have a surrogate. They just planned to use her egg in the husband's sperm. Sorry about the spittle, y'all. It ended up that because she had such a bad reaction to the surrogacy drugs, which are stimulation medication that make you make a lot of eggs and follicles, they ended up having to scratch that cycle. And then the second cycle, she used an egg donor. Thankfully, this egg donor did the right thing and was honorable. And I ended up carrying, we put in 3 embryos. 5-day transfer, 3 embryos. OMG. I was like, yeah, I might have triplets. It ended up that we only ended up having 2 of them stick, which is the word that we use. So I ended up having a brown-haired, white child with green eyes, like hazel-colored eyes, and a blonde-haired, blue-eyed child, because they're not related to me. Both of these pregnancies, the surrogacy and the pregnancy with little boy Blue, which is Chase inside, happened while I was working at the city of Tampa. So I'm probably sure, I mean, I worked my behind off. I worked all the way up to my due date on both days. But they were probably like, oh my God, what did we get into hiring this girl? What were we thinking? I was 5 months pregnant when I had my daughter and applied for a job at a pediatrician's asthmatic allergy office. So I've had many trials and tribulations, but I will say this, I have been able to work through pretty much every single pregnancy. Little boy Blue, my blood pressure got really high, and I decided after doing it with my daughter, who was born before him, many years before him, that I was like, I'm going to have a natural pregnancy. I'm going to do one. I'm just going to do one. OMG. Pain. I can't even express to y'all the amount of pain. But I will say this. I made it to 9.5 centimeters with him. They thought I was at the point of beginning to push. And if y'all have been through labor before, you know the heart rate's like, his was in the 140s. Okay, so, yeah. He was good to go. All of a sudden, when I got to 9.5 centimeters, his heart rate dropped to 40. 40. That's a huge problem. I worked in labor and delivery before as a paramedic. And, basically, they turned me this way, that way, the other, gave me some kind of medication, which I cannot remember the name of right now, to stop all the contractions. They were like, let's just stop the uterus from contracting. Turns out little boy Blue, and I had a feeling this was going to happen because I'd seen it in the sonograms. He had the cord over his shoulder for a couple of the ultrasounds, and when you're over 35, they call you advanced maternal age, so you get a lot more ultrasounds. Yeah, little boy Blue had his cord over his shoulder. Well, he was kicking and flipping and turning and kicking and twisting and doing all this crazy acrobatics in there forever. So I just had a feeling, and sure enough, he ended up with his cord wrapped around his neck twice, and they call it a double nuchal cord. So basically what happened is when I got to 9.5 centimeters, he got far enough down that he was like coming down, but the cord's wrapped around his neck twice, so he was choking himself, basically. That's why his heart rate dropped. So I went back for an emergency cesarean. Not at all what I wanted to do. Especially after 9, I mean, maybe 16, 12, 16 hours of labor, trying to just have a natural birth for once to see what it's like. And, yeah, this little fella ended up with the cord around his neck twice. So as the contractions were trying to push him down, he was basically strangling himself and ended up with his heart rate dropping to 40, which did not come back up. So they knocked the sister out. This girl right here. They knocked me out. I mean, general anesthesia knocked out. And I don't wake up easily because my problem is that I have a high tolerance for all things medical. So they decided, we got to give you a lot more medication because you ain't, you know, they tell you count back from 20, 10, whatever, 100, whatever number they give you. I don't know. And I was just counting back. I was like, yeah, okay, this number, that number, this number, that number. And they're like, she gonna need a little bit more medicine. Because by now, his heart rate had been at 40 for like 10 minutes. So they're like, yeah, we really need to knock her out so we can do this C-section. So they probably gave me double the dose. Rumor has it I had a blood transfusion. I don't remember all this, and it's not in the medical record. But I was told by baby boy daddy that I had a blood transfusion because apparently I almost died. And they gave me so much medication to knock me out and hurry up and do the C-section to get him out that they damn near killed me. Appreciate y'all. I'm going to add to the record that I ended up having, I was trying to have a VBAC because with the twins, obviously I had a C-section, and a vaginal birth after a cesarean section is very rare. There's very few places that will do it. This doctor that I had was willing to do it. She specialized in it. My problem is, she was on vacation when I went into labor because little boy Blue had to be evicted. He was supposed to be due on 10/10/10. Like, once in a century birth date. He was 2 days late. So she was on vacation. And then they gave me the newest doctor they have, who panicked. And can I just say that the Cision... Sorry, I got Dorito dust on me. The cut for the twins, 2 girls, this wide. New doctor, that wide and further to the right than to the left. So I had the worst healing ever. And I don't usually take medication after I have surgery. So I was not amused. But I'm just going to say, those are my stories of all my children, including the surrogacy. I'm going to get back inside and help little boy Blue with his homework. Finish up these Doritos and go eat my Campbell's chicken noodle soup. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification button so you know when the next episode of Gen Crazy gets posted, because I have been posting like mad lately. I'm trying to get some more content on the channel. I really am. I think this might be my 5th or 6th video since yesterday. But I just wanted to do a video on my children / surrogacy story. So, there you have it. And yes, to this day, I still see the twins. I have been a slacker. What's going on with y'all? It's 2 birds over there fighting. I have been a slacker bee. They are very, very, very sweet and very, like, we send each other Mother's Day cards, birthday cards, Father's Day cards. They send Chase a gift card usually on his birthday. I send them stuff on their birthday, but for the last year, because of last year and a half, because of all the craziness I had with living in the car and all the mom drama. It's another video. I just basically could not afford to send their daughters anything, but they are 1 year older than Chase, so he's 8, they're 9, and I am gonna send some kind of a special package to them because they are winos. I'm not trying to be funny. They love wine. They're very much wine connoisseurs, and I saw a commercial for this package that had like wine and steak, so I think I'm going to try to send that to them while I have the money right now from the sale of the last puppy, because they are the sweetest couple ever, and they're not really pushy. And when you're a surrogate, you have to realize that sometimes people don't want you involved. They don't want their kids to know that, like my first couple, they were never going to tell the 13-year-old and 11-year-old that, hey, this black chick is having your brother or sister or whatever. They just weren't going to, which is cool. Because when you enter into an arrangement as a surrogate, especially with an agency, you have to check all these things off. If you're willing to work with a famous person, somebody that doesn't want them to ever know that, you know, you were the surrogate, or if you want to have like an open relationship. I didn't push anything. I was very much open to anything. My only thing was, if it's going to be like a 2-male kind of couple, and not to sound sexist, but I was like, I want to meet them. I want to make sure that, you know, I feel cool. The vibe is good. Other than that, I was good to go. So when I met up with this couple, and I'm not going to name them, and I'm not going to show pictures of their kids because I haven't asked them about that, but they were the coolest couple ever, because they knew forever that like they planned for 14 years, I'm not kidding, that they needed to have a surrogate. They knew because of her spinal condition, and the reaction to the meds was unexpected, but still, coolest couple ever. So every year they live about a little over an hour and a half away, so it's not the quickest trip, but every year we are very much welcome to come to the girls' birthday parties. And they're not really doing a lot of birthday parties anymore now that the girls are 9, but we are always welcome to come by and visit. And I just feel bad because I've been like a slacker for the last year and a half. It's not by choice. I just haven't had the money. I mean, really, it's a long trek. It's a lot of gas. It's, you know, to send the girls gifts. There's 2 girls, so usually I spend at least $150 to send them gifts. And they are very much a sweet, sweet couple. And I wish them all the best. But I'm going to have to send them something. I mean, they're not asking for it, but I'm going to have to send them something, because I just feel really bad that it's been so long since I've sent them anything, including the girls. So, their birthday is in August. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm going to try to send something that all of them can enjoy. I just broke a Dorito and it went down my shirt. Sorry, I gotta get Dorito out of there. Cool. Okay, anyway. Don't mean to drag this video out this long, but don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when the next episode of Crazy Jen is coming up. And I'm going to go back inside because I'm sweating right now because it is so hot out here. And I got to help little boy Blue with his homework. So, I will see y'all on the next one. But I did want to share my surrogacy / pregnancies / children's stories with y'all. And I'm going to point out real quick. Number one son, I was 17 when I got pregnant with him. I had already graduated from high school. And I was 18 when I had him. They used those forceps to pull him out. Not fun. Baby girl, she was what you call sunny side up. Talk about back labor. OMG. I tried to go natural with her, but that wasn't going to happen. I was begging for that anesthesiologist to come in the room after like 4 centimeters, because back labor is no joke if y'all have been through it. And then I got a little boy. My own. I had the twins before him, but the twins were a scheduled C-section. And only because one of them was literally squatting down in the bottom of my crotch. So she would kick up, and then her sister was in a T shape across my ribs. So the bottom girl would push up because she was breech, and her sister would push out, and I would be like, "Ah, Jesus, stop!" I literally had to sleep sitting upright with them. That's when I bought one of those TV pillows to begin with, because I could not lay down with them because I had the worst acid reflux. And especially because it was just like literally the bottom one would kick and stretch herself out, and then she would hit her sister in the stomach, and her sister would stretch out the other way. So they were like a T shape. That was horrible. Don't get me wrong, y'all. I love pregnancy. I ain't got no problems with it. But little boy Blue, like I said, I made it to 9.5 centimeters, but he was just pretty much choking himself. Oh my God, my mother's car is so hot. Sorry, I'm trying to stand up, y'all. He literally was choking himself with his own cord, so thankfully everything came out all right. But I don't remember none of that, because 9.5 centimeters is when his heart rate dropped, and they were like, yeah, we got to give you some medicine to slow that down. And I used to work in labor and delivery. I can't remember the name of the meds anymore. It's been a long time. But they were like, yeah, we got to slow these contractions. And then slowing the contractions also caused me to bleed and bleed and bleed. So from what I'm told, I had a blood transfusion, and I was out for like 4 or 5 hours. I mean, it took me a long time to wake up. And I don't know what it is with general anesthesia, but I always feel like I got something on the end of my nose. So I'm like, constantly I wave my nose like this, and then I would drowse back off. So baby boy's daddy was a slacker bitch, because he did not even get his son, his only child, from the nursery. He's like, yeah, just go ahead and give him a bottle. What's wrong with you, fool? I told you I wanted to breastfeed. Why are you trying to give him a... Anyway, I'm going to be done with this video right now, because it is so long. But like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will catch you guys on the next video for real.